You're not a people pleaser. It's more like you're running a program. Those are two different things, and the gap between them is basically this whole video, so hang on. Because when somebody says yes to everything, apologizes for existing, and folds the second anyone gets slightly annoyed, we all go, wow, spineless, doormat, too nice, no backbone. And every one of those words assumes you're picking it. That somewhere in there is a tiny decision you keep making wrong over and over like an idiot. But good news, you're not picking it. You've got an employee. His name is Gerald. Gerald is your bodyguard. You hired him when you were about 6. He does not sleep. He has never once taken a vacation. And he is exceptional at his one job, which is reading a room before you're even in the room. Somebody's jaw goes tight? Gerald clocks it. Voice drops half a step? Gerald's already standing up. And the second he decides a big, unpredictable person might be about to get upset, he grabs the wheel and runs the one play that has always worked. Make them okay first. Sort out you later. You know Fight, Flight, Freeze? The nature documentary lineup? Gerald is the 4th one. A therapist named Pete Walker gave it a name, Fawning, which is the thing a dog does when it flips over and shows its belly to the biggest dog in the park. Because when you can't swing, you can't run. And playing dead doesn't help. There's exactly one move left on the board. Make the scary thing like you.
So, who hired this guy?
Think about what it's actually like being a kid. You're small, you can't leave, you can't out-argue the adults, and you definitely can't pay rent. Fight? Off the table. Flight? Off the table. That leaves Gerald. And there's research on the boring, everyday version of this, the version most of us actually got. Some researchers went to a pile of college students and asked how love worked in their house growing up. Nothing dramatic, just did your parents get a little warmer when you behaved and a little cooler when you didn't? 4 areas: keeping your feelings in, being helpful, grades, and sports. Asser, Roth, and DC, for the 3 of you who pause videos to fact-check me, I see you, I respect you. And the kids from those houses did do the stuff. They kept their feelings in. They were helpful. Lovely. But look at what they ticked yes to on the questionnaire, because this is the part that got me. One of the statements was, and I quote, "I often feel a strong internal pressure to exert control over my negative emotions." Pressure. Not, I'm a calm person. Pressure. Another one they agreed with? The satisfaction I get from being able to suppress and not show negative feelings is often short-lived. Short-lived. So you pull it off, you get about 9 seconds of relief, and then the next standard loads in like the next level of a game you never asked to install. And one more, and this one's rough. Some days I have a very good opinion of myself. Other days, I have a very poor opinion of myself. That's a person whose self-worth is a stock ticker. Green Tuesday, red Wednesday. Nothing about them actually changed. Then somebody pooled a stack of these studies, 11,000 people, and split the houses into 2 kinds. There's the house where love gets taken away when you're bad. And there's the house where extra love gets handed to you when you're good. Guess which kind had more of that internal pressure? The nice one. The carrot, not the stick. Which is rude, frankly. So Gerald doesn't only get hired in scary houses, Gerald gets hired in houses with good snacks. And he is excellent. And he is a big reason you made it through. Why he never clocks out. So the danger's over. You're an adult. You've got your own place. Nobody in your life is about to start yelling. And you still apologize to furniture. You still say, "No worries," to someone who has caused you, specifically, worries. Why is Gerald still clocking in? Because nobody told him the war ended. And I mean that literally. Hiro Onoda was a Japanese intelligence officer who kept fighting in the Philippine jungle until 1974, 29 years. And people tried to tell him. They dropped leaflets saying the war was over, come down from the mountains. Onoda read them and went, propaganda. They dropped newspapers. Fake. They dropped photographs and letters from his own family. Obviously written under duress, poor woman, they've clearly got her. Every piece of evidence that it was safe to stop became more proof that it wasn't. He only stood down when his old commanding officer flew out to the island and formally relieved him of duty. Somebody he'd take it from. That's Gerald. That's Gerald with a rifle. There's a mechanism under this too, and it's kind of evil. Researchers put people in headphones and told them a horrible loud noise was coming. Then they handed some of those people an out, a cable. Yank it, no noise. Those people yanked it every single time and walked out still absolutely certain the noise was coming. The people with no cable just sat there, and the noise didn't come, and they learned it. Now, that's headphones, obviously. That is not your aunt at Christmas. But the shape is the same, and the shape is the entire problem. Every time you cave before anybody can get upset, you yank the cable. The disaster doesn't arrive, and you file that under, great, caving worked, instead of, maybe nothing was coming. So Gerald gets a bonus. Gerald gets Employee of the Month, every month, forever. There's a wall of plaques in your head, and every single one is his face. 29 years and counting. The costume. Here's the sneaky bit, and this is where people beat themselves up hardest. Gerald wears kindness as a costume. From the outside, he looks like generosity. You're helpful, you're easy, you're the one who remembers everybody's coffee order, and people love that, so it gets rewarded. So Gerald gets stronger. Great, excellent, terrible. But there's a tell, and it's a good one. Real kindness has a choice inside it. You can give or not give, and you're fine either way. This does not have a choice inside it. Try it right now. Picture saying no to something small, a group chat, a favor from someone you like. Feel that? That little bolt of dread? That is not generosity. That is Gerald leaning in, going, hey, remember what happens when they're upset? And it costs you. There's a whole line of research on people who mute their own feelings and opinions to keep a relationship smooth. And the muting keeps showing up right next to depression, like they carpool. Being everybody's favorite person is not free. The bill just shows up late. So at 2 a.m., when you're relitigating a conversation from Tuesday going, why did I say yes? Why did I apologize? What is wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. Gerald did his job. Gerald just doesn't know what year it is. Okay, honesty bit, because you've been here a while and I like you. Fawning is not a diagnosis. You can't go and get diagnosed with fawn. It came out of a therapist's caseload, not a lab, and half those studies are grown adults remembering their own childhoods, which is not exactly security footage. So hold it loosely, but hold it. Because here's the good news, and honestly, this is the whole reason I made this one. A character flaw is something you are. A program is something that's running. And things that run can be updated. Slowly, badly at first, with a genuinely stupid amount of dread over one group chat, but updated. And Gerald's not getting fired, by the way. Gerald's retiring, full pension, there will be cake. Walking him to the door is going to cost you one awkward no and exactly one subscribe. Take care of yourself.